You see that right there? That is rust. And we don't want that in these panels. Good morning, everyone. We are currently out here in Boonville, Iowa. We got responded with a emergency dispatch saying that there's a little bit of flickering lights, abnormal buzzing in the panel. So we are out here. We're going to do an emergency swap. We got Med-Am already out here. We ended up getting it disconnected. And let me showing you that right here. Oh, took apart the meter already. Ended up trying to get this set up, but little people were rambunctious to go and get this taken care of. So we, on the flip side, are taking care of business today. Going to be inserting some new grounding rods, so that way we can make sure that this house is grounded properly. And we are going to be going inside, and we're going to be setting up in there because most of the inside work is going to be taken care of while I hurry up and drive the ground rods and put the grounding clamps on, run the wire. And before we go in, we always put on our boot covers because we don't want to go and disturb anybody else's house. And we try to keep a little bit more respect for people's personal belongings as if they were ours. My co-worker in here, Frank, is already getting started over here. How's it look?
Oh, looking like it's time for an update. Time to get them over to a single panel 100 amp service. That's pretty much what we got on the books for today. I think you're going to go pound some ground rods, and I'm going to make this all pretty.
Yes, sir. What we got right now is we're going to be putting that new panel here. We're going to be putting it in that spot. As you can see, it is not properly placed and set because we have a panel directly right up against concrete. We want to put a backer board. We're going to take this backer board right here and we're going to slide it in there. Once we get this old system out of place, we're going to be putting a new one because you see that right there? That is rust. Because since this is exterior wall, you have sometimes some condensate and some leftover coming down the foundation, and we don't want that in these panels.
Water plus electricity, bad. Don't do that, people.
No.
Don't do that.
No. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to get set up in here. Frank's going to give you a lowdown on what he's doing while I go outside and pound some ground rods. And really, nobody wants to watch that. I'll probably get a little bit sweaty, and you know, nobody wants to see that. Nobody. So as you can see now, we got rid of that little small sub panel. Well, I say we, but Frank here did. He's working on getting the rest of it disassembled. Going to see if we can't fit that new panel in without having to make adjustments to that pipe there. And if we can, that's great. If not, what we will do is we'll disconnect that, get the wires pulled up so that way we can go cut the pipe a little bit and we'll make it work. But as you see, some little rusty rust right there, and that's why we do not just fasten up against cement. So all good and good. I'm going to go back out, going to drive ground rods. And as soon as I get done with that, be back in. And everybody, this is what it looks like without. We got a nice little backboard here set up right. And this spaghetti mess is soon going to go into there. And as you guys can see, through a little bit of a struggle, we got the new panel up. Now we're going to be buttoning this down, putting the connections up towards the top, pushing the wires down to where each one of them are not exposed above the panel, and then we are going to be landing these. Because we're good electricians when we make sure our connections are tight. Just in, Lee Journeyman has become the cameraman. Q&A time. All in all, what do you think your best productivity would be out of being an electrician? What do you strive to go and accomplish. And what's your favorite deal in electricity?
I'm a real big fan of automated systems, low volt controllers. I have a lot of fun doing that stuff. I started doing that well before ever even having a chance at being an electrician. I started off in the low volt world, made Halloween props, got paid for having a lot of fun. Now I get paid for having fun still. It all works out, kids.
Well, I have to say this setup looks a heck a lot better than the two panel setup it was initially. That is for sure. How many panel setups have you done before?
None. But I did stay on Motel 6 Express last night. I'd say I'm a good 10 in. Including pools, Intel centers, stuff like that. Way more pools. I'm probably up over 30 now. First year into apprenticeship here with Rewired. Thanks, guys. It's really nice to have a promising path towards a successful and respected future.
See, I've set up quite a few panels. I mean, I can't even tell you, in between commercial jobs, residential, some water plants, such like that. That's why I always like, you know, seeing you, Logan, getting in the panel, figuring out what's what, how to best go about doing this, how to best go about doing that. Because even though you might be apprentices, I mean, once you become a journeyman and then you're setting out on your own, it's like, okay, how do I do this?
Yep.
That's what I didn't like about previous employers, just because of the fact that, you know, you're the person, oh, go get the bender. Well, go get my pliers. And as before, we are keeping enough loop of wire on these because these are called service loops. There are some of those that do not like putting them in. They like to go and put them straight down, you know, make it look nice. But in the eventuality that this panel might need to be swapped again, depending on where those wires are going to end up on the next breaker, it's always good to have a little bit extra. So that way, if you do need to trim off any for any reason, you have plenty of space to work with. If you want to make your panel look good, you can. But will that set you up for future failure? So you always just got to be mindful towards other people and see ahead in the future. And if there is enough space in the panel for you to do so.
Technically, you could call the inspector now because I'm landing the neutral. There's a breaker on, everything's on. I twist the bonding ground in, then it's everything required to pass inspection. Get that turned on ASAP.
I'm going to duct seal outside in the meter heading down. Probably would just be a good idea.
We have the surge protector down here. All the ground's landed on the side.
Okay.
You heard me say it before, like anything that's still got the wires on it. Those are 240 circuits. It's like that white one's on 240.
It looks like they provided plenty of 20 amp 2 poles.
Cool. I know technically with all this romance, I could have just grabbed the ground and pulled it up and stripped it.
See, sometimes though, if you go and hit it just right, that ground will snap off. So
He's being older.
yeah, and that's why I don't do that.
Yeah. I'm just happy all these are real grounds. Like the first rendition of them, and they're all D-rated.
Right, or some of them are like 18 gauge ground and 12-2 Romex.
Yeah.
I've seen those before too.
Yeah,
They're interesting to say the least.
they sure are.
I just had that as the very first breaker anyways and cut off the length, and there you go. And just on further note, it is always important to put a bushing at the end of the pipe for any wires that are number 4 or larger.
Everything else, I'm using the actual ground bars, the bonding screws tied in. But you know, if they ever add a generator or anything like that and have a new point of disconnect and these have to be split, all they have to do is remove that screw.
Yeah. Because technically this is a sub panel, or considered to be a sub panel afterwards.
Yeah, after that.
Yep. You are sure that each one of the neutrals, the ones that have the copper still on them, are the 220s?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
That's to the well. I know that was a 220. I checked the circuit, followed it all the way back.
What was the transformer attached to?
This is a doorbell.
Yeah, I know, but what was it attached to? Do you remember specifically, or did it have its own?
I think it was pigtailed in on another little 15 amp.
Okay.
It don't take anything. I left a little bit of white just because.
Indicator of which one's which?
Yeah, I don't think it matters, but if it worked before, I put it back the way it was.
No, and that's usually a good indicator. Usually those things are non-polarized, so you can put it on a neutral or a hot, depending on which one you put on which.
Yeah.
But if it did work initially, it's always good to put it on it, just in case they ended up putting a ring system in and stuff like that. So, good deal.
Then the orange ones, I mean, obviously those are 240 circuits.
Yeah. All right, just like the inspector said earlier, we ended up passing inspection. We had our bonding up here in the corner, bushing, of course, main wires taken care of. I'm going to be finishing up this panel as much as I can until Frank gets back with the necessary breakers that were not included on the list. So get that taken care of real quick. All right, and again, nice little setup here. Doorbell, just went ahead and put on its own transformer. No need to go and screw around with that. Waiting on the two breakers, getting that set up, and we'll be back momentarily. All right, so waiting on Mid-Am. They still have not come out to this location yet to go and restore the power, but we are fully connected inside. We got the breakers all set. We will have to come back another day to go and relabel the panel because I cannot stay here any longer. But all in all, it was a good day. We got everything passed for inspection, got the job here in Boonville completed, and we are ready to go and do another one another day. Have a good night, guys. Have a good one.